Hello, everyone, and welcome to day two of my 30-day life challenge. So, today's topic is if I could go back 5 years, I'd start sooner. So, have you ever looked back and thought, if I only had started earlier? I think many of us we can relate to that, right? It could be, maybe, starting learning a new skill, or maybe taking care of your health, or maybe spending more time with your loved ones, or maybe saying yes to an opportunity that felt uncomfortable at the time. So looking back, I don't have regrets because every experience, has taught me something. But if I could have one conversation with my younger self 5 years ago, there are a few things I would say. So let's start first with a little bit of my background. You know, 5 years before I started my digital business, I was already thinking about my future. I could see my parents getting older, and I wanted to be more present with them. I wanted more flexibility, I wanted to travel, I wanted to continue learning and growing. I wanted to take care of better, of my health. So take better care of my health. I also wanted to build something that gave me purpose beyond my career. You know what is the interesting part? Is that I already knew what I wanted. The problem was that I didn't know how to make it happen. So I stay busy, I continue working, and I kept telling myself that maybe someday I would figure it out. Then in 2023, everything changed. There was a slowdown in my industry, and that slowdown became my wake up call that I needed. So it helped me to push to start searching instead of waiting, you know. And when I look back today, I realized that I didn't need to have all the answers before taking that first step. I simply needed to be willing to begin and, to take action. So the lesson I learned from that is that if I could go back 5 years, this is what I would tell myself. Take more risk, of course, no reckless risk, but the kind of risks that help you to grow. Don't wait for life to force you to change. you know Also, become curious, ask questions, search for possibilities, and also don't stay inside your comfort zone simply because it feels familiar. Growth almost always begins on the other side of the discomfort zone. And the other thing that I will tell myself is to work on my mindset every single day. I learned that during my journey. I thought that I had a strong mindset, and then my journey proved me wrong. So that's something that I will tell myself, my younger self, you work on your mindset every single day, because opportunities don't always appear with flashing lights. Sometimes they're in the right in front of us, but we don't recognize them because we are not ready to see them. So by having an open mind and a broader perspective, it will allow you to notice possibilities you might have missed before. And perhaps the most important lesson of all is make time for the people you love. Success means very little if you don't have the time to enjoy it with those who matter the most. So maybe your situation is different from mine, but I believe this lesson applies to all of us. I want you to ask yourself these questions. What have I been putting off because I'm waiting for the right time? The second question would be, what skills have I wanted to learn and you haven't taken action to it? And the next question, what conversation have I been avoiding? Many times we avoid so many conversations because we have fear of doing or asking. And the last one, what dream have I kept postponing? And I think a lot of people would relate to this last question because many times we have so many dreams, but we always have either fear or we get, persuaded by other people's saying or beliefs. And or sometimes, we sacrifice ourselves and then we don't pursue those dreams. So um go, if you have a dream, go for that dream. Okay, so don't let it postpone anymore. You don't have to change your entire life today, but you can take one small step today that your future self will thank you for. So if we're talking about taking those small actions that you can repeat it consistently, and those by doing that, those often lead to the biggest transformation. And I think I have a question here. Yeah, so Elvira, thank you, Elvira, for watching. And Elvira say yes. Hi, Sandy. Yes, I can relate to that with regards to mindset. Thank you for sharing, Elvira. Yeah, I think a lot of us, yeah, we can relate to that. Working on the mindset. We usually think that the mindset, you learn once and you're okay. But the truth is, your mindset be good for certain situations, but not for all of them. So that's why you need to work on your mindset on a daily basis, so you are prepared for every situation that comes at you. All right. So, if there is one thing I learned, is this: time keeps moving whether we act or not. So time is gonna pass. So whatever is gone, you cannot replace it. You cannot go back and change yesterday. But we can decide what we'll do today. So um, whatever is past, past, but you can take and make a difference today. So your future is shaped by the choices you make now and not someday. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me for day 2 of this challenge. And I appreciate every one of you who takes a few minutes to be here. And I hope these stories encourage you to keep learning, to keep growing, and to believe that it's never too late to take the first step. So I'll see you later today for day 3. But before we go, I would love to hear from you. So I do have a question for you. So if you could go back 5 years, what advice would you give to your younger self? Share your thoughts in the comments, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And I would love to hear your comment. So thank you, everyone. God bless you all. And I'll see you on our next day 3 of our 30-day life challenge. Thank you, everyone. Bye.